and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for coffee with the dog.
Sit-down comedy.
You make me laugh.
Sit down. I don't know. I'm talking to a dog. Comedy is a dog. Down. Sit. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm firing the band. Definitely firing the band. Definitely. I'm like Rain Man firing the band. Definitely firing the band. Definitely firing the band. Good morning, you rotten people of Earth. It's Thursday. I like Thursdays. I like them better than Mondays. Thursday, what is today? January 25th, 2024. Hope you're having a wonderful Armageddon and looking forward to the end days as I am. Big party for the end days. Anyway, we're going to have a very strange show today. In the first hour, we're going to have a comic who calls himself the self-care dude by the name of Anthony. I want to make sure I get his name right. I'm probably going to butcher it. Cassisi? It's like an Italian thing, I think. Anyway, and the second hour, we're going to have Gene Moran, who is a lobbyist, a former Navy captain, who is a political lobbyist, and we're going to talk politics. And it could get a little ugly, especially if your name is Mike Chavola in the chat room there. You might get a little disturbed by kind of some of the things you hear. If you don't know, sorry to drag you down here, but the United States is going down the toilet one way or another. And if you're not paying attention, good for you, because you're partying till the end of time. You're partying like it's, I don't know, 2099. I guess if Prince were alive, he would revise that. Anyway, we are dangerously close to civil war. We're dangerous, and people talk about that. And what would it look like? Who the fuck knows? Maybe Gene will give me some perspective on this. But as we've talked about a lot, the situation on the border has been there forever, and politicians throw it back and forth, but they don't really want to fix the problem. There was a deal in place, a bipartisan deal, with Senate and Congress both agreeing to a deal to fund border security. Donald Trump didn't want that, and he blew it up last night. Why didn't he want that? Well, because he's running on border security. He can't, first of all, make it look like Biden got a win. And second of all, he can't allow the problem to be addressed before he gets reelected to stay out of jail. So it's all about him. He put the country behind his own desire to stay out of jail, and he basically put the kibosh on it. And they're not even hiding the fact. The Republicans are saying Donald Trump pressured Mike Johnson. Mitch McConnell said the politics of it flipped overnight, meaning a phone call from Donald Trump to Mike Johnson saying, kill this deal. And so we have a situation where they want to complain about the problem and not deal with the problem. In the meantime, Texas is defying the Supreme Court, Donald Trump's Supreme Court, and the United States president, and basically putting the National Guard, the Texas National Guard, on the border to deter immigrants from coming across. According to the governor, he's going to continue to defy the United States government, and about 20 other states are supporting him. So we're looking at a really dangerous situation here, and I hate to make you even aware of it if you're not aware of it, but it's not looking good. So we could use a few laughs, and if you're not really paying attention, this is um, probably not the place for you to be today, because, or especially in the second hour, because I think Gene Moran is going to enlighten us on what a lot of this stuff means. It's all tied. A lot of it is tied to Ukraine, and that's another thing that it seems that the Republican Party wants Ukraine to fall to Russia. It doesn't just seem like that. It's pretty obvious that they want Russia to have Ukraine. Why? Why do they want Putin to gain more power and become the USSR again? Basically, another version of it. Why? But that's what we're looking at. So it's not looking good. As I stated on, I think January 2nd, I might have even, was it New Year's or January 2nd? I don't think we're going to make it through this year. Meanwhile, California is sliding into the ocean. 4 point. And I shouldn't make a joke about that. Warren Beatty did. I'm. Oh no, Warren Beatty. Oh my God, I should just quit. I quit. Warren Zevon made the joke about California sliding into the ocean, as the mystics and statistics said it will. 4.5 earthquake in Los Angeles last night. Kind of a big one. Nothing, no infrastructure damage or anything like that, but enough to scare the shit out of people. But usually, and I hope not, but usually these things don't happen in like one little burst and go away. It's usually aftershocks, and sometimes a 4.5 is followed by a 6 or something. Hope that doesn't happen. But we're all just going to hell. We are going to hell. The good thing, part of that on the bright side, is there's a party going on in hell. Um, Probably a little more fun than last night. I had a biblical scholar on the program, and we're talking. He believes in prayer, and he got a great laugh. Dr. David Chafka. Um, and I didn't even push back on any of the religious stuff about thoughts and prayers and all that stuff. But it occurred to me that whenever we hear these pundits, thoughts and prayers, like we're going to fix the problem, I don't think they even, I think it's just talk. I don't even think they actually have any thoughts. And I don't think they actually pray. Because we're talking about the power of prayer. Power of prayer isn't just saying, I'm going to pray for you. Now, even if you don't believe in prayer, that's one whole other thing. But if you do, you got to at least say the prayer, don't you? You don't just say thoughts and prayers and then never have a thought about it or say a prayer about it and expect something to change. And I honestly think none of the people who say, thoughts and prayers actually have a thought or a prayer. Now, my guest last night was a big believer in the power of prayer. Believes that one of the first prayers he offered for somebody who was in critical condition healed him. He also believes that his power of prayer healed his wife of muscular dystrophy. Now, muscular dystrophy is not really a medically um, treatable disease. It doesn't go away. You got muscular dystrophy. It just doesn't go. And according to his doctor, documented it for 5 years before he said the prayer, and then 3 years after, and all traces of muscular dystrophy have gone from his wife, according to Dr. Chatka. Chatka. I'm silly and stupid, but I'm preparing. I'm preparing for the end of the world. I want to go out laughing and partying. You know what? Maybe this isn't the best segue to bring in GD. Maybe it is, but it's time to say hello to GD. Willie is not here with us again. Willie is hiding in Bandwidth, Minnesota, a place where they actually have no bandwidth. But GD is here, and he wants to talk about coffee that he doesn't have.
That's right. If you're feeling as empty as my coffee mug, join the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings live and get your fill of thoughts and prayers.
Now, let me tell you something, because last night I brought this up, because you just said Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, and he was Reverend Dr. David Chapka. And I
Right.
was like, "What? I'm confused. Does the Reverend come first or the doctor come first?" And it seems to be important that the Reverend come before the doctor. You just said it backwards. So,
No,
are
no.
you a rep? The question is, are you a rebel or is he lying to me?
Yes.
And don't you try to be political about this. I want a
No.
straight yes or no answer.
It is a straight yes or no answer. And yes and no.
A
The Dr.
fucking
Reverend,
political answer.
yes, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll is a rebel. And yes, Chopka is a liar. No, no. Well, here's the deal. Okay, I've known him for a long time. We went to ministerial school. Look, actually, I have no idea who he is. But I was following his case, even though I don't know him. Turns out the way he got rid of the muscular dystrophy in his wife was he just got a different wife. Okay, that's it. The first wife still has muscular dystrophy, but she's not his wife anymore.
And the
So the second,
doctor had no idea. As long as she looks a little bit like the ex one, I guess that would
yeah,
work.
look, all you do is to say is the insurance. All they care about is the insurance paid up. It doesn't matter what now they look to see if the name is the same, and if the name is the same, then and the insurance is paid. That's it.
The name
All they
remains
because
the same.
that's when you walk in. What do? They say your name and your birth date. They don't
That's
check your ID. They check
uh,
your insurance to see if it's up to date.
right. Now, but what about the first? Because the story with the first guy was the guy had a clot that could have uh, gotten loose and gotten to his brain or his heart, and he couldn't move. He was in a hospital bed, and they were trying to break down this clot. It wouldn't go away. This guy who he asked him to pray for him had actually tormented him and teased him about his belief, and that was like he thought the guy was cool. He didn't want to pray for him. Guy asked several times. He got a nurse to come and ask him to pray for him, and he reluctantly did. This was his first time actually praying for somebody. Felt the heat go through his arm and into the guy, and the clot was gone. Uh, Now that's the story. There's no way for me to validate this, and I wasn't trying to be. I had no plans on being confrontational with the guy. I wanted to really break down the essence of does prayer work? Because why does it not work in so many cases, like thoughts and prayers and all this stuff?
Obviously you missed the segment where the doctor Reverend Jelly Roll broke down why prayers sometimes work and do not work. That the episode that
I
he broke
didn't.
it down.
I don't remember it. It was Sunday
So you're
morning.
probably
Jesus,
sleeping.
I'm half asleep. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're probably asleep because he broke it down. He broke it down with diagrams and charts and everything.
But before, okay, I'll review that. But do you think people? Because it just occurred to me like, duh, people really aren't praying. They say they're praying. They're saying thoughts and prayers, but they're not actually doing thoughts and prayers. That I don't really have it, so and I
Well, it
definitely
depends
don't
on the
have the energy
religion.
to
See,
pray.
it depends on the religion. Remember now, some religions think you have to pray a certain way and offer a certain obligation. You know, the smelly stuff.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the smell you have to offer the smelly stuff, the incense. That's some religions. Other religions say you have to be on your knees at 6 o'clock, facing due north,
Right.
unless it's winter.
But
Then it's
I'm thinking in the
alleviated.
United States, every time there's a gun issue, a certain party who is evangelical Christian comes
Right.
out and says thoughts and prayers, and
Right.
the thing doesn't get fixed. And I think not only do they not want to offer any real solutions, but thoughts and prayers they aren't even really doing that. I mean,
But
we
do we
have no
know what
evidence
they're
that thought.
thinking? But
Yeah,
do we know what they're thinking and what they're praying for?
I don't think they're praying at all.
Maybe they are praying for more guns, and that's their thought. So they're thinking that people will panic and we can get more guns, because not everybody, just because they say thoughts and prayers, doesn't mean they're thinking and praying for good.
That's that. You make a good point there, but I think next time somebody says that thoughts and prayers, I think somebody should say, "Okay, go,
Yeah, you
go.
lead. You first.
Let me see what it looks like. What's your thought? Tell me your thought, and then show me how you pray. Because
Yeah.
the show is all about, and the guy's written a thick book on how to pray, but he's a
Well,
Christian,
how
and
big is the font?
it doesn't matter.
It does. You can have a
Well,
thick
you
book and only
think
have 6 words in it, but the font is so huge it takes up like each word takes up 9 pages.
well, no font is that big. We've got a limit to fonts,
Oh,
even if it's
ye
let's
of
just
little font.
you have you have little fonts. So, but the book is this thick. Come on, now, because I said, according to Christian doctrine, Jesus gave you a template to pray. It's called the Lord's Prayer, and it's basically a template. And it's only this long, even with big fonts. It's all right. If you give it the
Yeah.
biggest font, it's this long.
Right.
So, why do you need a book this big if you got a template to work from?
Profit. The other rest of it is the profit margin.
That's it.
The rest of the book, there's your net, and then there's your your basic cost, and then there's the profit margin. That's
right. I hate to seem like I'm bashing my guest. 'Cause I wasn't really trying to be confrontational, but I want to know. I really want to know why prayers work in his case and saved. It did miracles, and he claimed that he can't do miracles. That he's not the Messiah, but God does miracles. Did miracles through him. Why him and why not? Let's say I don't
The
know,
other
Mike.
700 people who died of the same thing that day.
Or Mike Johnson healing, praying for. But you're right; he could be praying for more guns and more school shootings or whatever.
Yeah, he
I
already
didn't
said he
take that
wants
into
to
account.
hide the faces of the people who tried to overthrow the government. So we know that he's not on the up and up.
Because they were all feds, right? Because he was.
They were all right. They were all feds that Trump wants to pardon now. They were all feds and Antifa and Black Lives Matter that Trump wants to pardon now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to make sense. All it does is has to make money for them.
Because they were trying to overthrow a government for Biden, who actually already won the election and was about to get.
Yes. Yes.
My head is a little confused by all this. Anyway, we're going to talk to a lobbyist in the second hour. In the first hour, maybe we're going to have some laughs. I hope we're going to have some laughs.
Now he's going to stop laughing right away because I have a very serious question for Mr. Self-Help dude here. Self-care dude. And it's going to blow. It's going to change his hairstyle. What I've had.
Now, what is the difference? Is there a difference between self-care and self-help?
Well, I misspoke. I don't want to claim. I don't want to give him a condition that he doesn't claim. He didn't claim self-help. He claimed self-care. So
all right.
I'm not going to. I don't want to throw something on him that I'm going to stick with what he said, and I'm just going to ask him a question based on what he said. Actually,
now you got him all nervous. He's probably getting his. He's praying.
He should be pissing in his cup right now.
He's thinking and praying and going to get a gun.
Right now, he's got thoughts and prayers. That's right, thoughts and prayers.
All right,
he's thinking and praying that I should die before I ask the question.
I need to play
it down. So
I need to play a commercial. What commercial do I have to play? Do you know?
Oh, that's what you could do the video of just the dog one, and we'll do the mouthing part with our own music. You do the mouthing part, and I'll do the music.
I'm gonna take a shot at Turbo, and maybe this music will fly. But and I got to redo the Tracy's Dog commercial so that I'm not getting harassed. But yeah, or I could just ask Tracy's Dog for the license that they bought for this music, and just ask if I could apply it to them. We'll work it out. But in the meantime, I'm not going to play Mr. Geronimo. I'm going to play Turbo. Tracy's Dog is the best place to go for your sex toys. If you want to, it's body safe silicone, which is the best way of saying, or a different way of saying non-toxic butt plugs. And Turbo seems to be like a fleshlight from a horror movie. It's scary. You press that little red button, it will suck your dick right off of you. Check it out, Turbo. Do not press the red button. Oh! Centrifugal engine. Centrifugal forced ejaculation. I'm telling you, that red button is danger. Don't touch the red button. Don't do it. Oh, it's scary. It breaks glass. Coming at full speed. Listen, honestly, I don't.
R2 deep throat. That's what that is.
I don't want that kind of ejaculation or orgasm. I don't believe it. What's wrong with old fashioned? You don't need to kind of experience, I don't know, 22nd century orgasms. You just don't. You just don't. You deal with the ones you've had. They're fine. You've gotten along fine with the orgasms you've been having. Stop trying. But that button. It's scary.
It's good enough for my dad. It's good enough for me. So yeah, have sex with my mom. Is what
all right. I'm gonna take a shot at Anthony Cassisi.
Duck Anthony. He's taking a shot at you. You can say that he's a terrible shot. I've watched him shoot. He's terrible.
Yeah, Anthony Cassisi, and hopefully that's how you pronounce his name. I haven't asked him because I haven't met him yet. Also known as the self-care dude, Anthony boasts a significant following on social media and makes strides in the comedy scene. His unique communication style enables him to connect with individuals on various levels, like whether they're up here or over here, and make him a relatable comic. He's here now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in Anthony Cassisi?
It's Cassisi. It's
Cassisi. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were close.
I should know this. And Vinny Vanelli, who's our resident Italian expert, would probably be returning over in his not yet grave or his urn. I apologize for that. Now I know it. Cassisi.
I gotta say, my thoughts and prayers to whoever uses that machine at full speed, because that's fucking scary, man.
I think it's fine as long as you don't press the red button. It's like that don't whatever. That should be like a fail safe or something. But once you press that red button, your fate is in your own, not in your own hands.
The red button calls like an ambulance. So when you pop off, you take the bucket at the end. There's someone coming to get you.
Yeah. Are you scared of GD's question that he has for you? Because I'm a little nervous about it. If you know him at all, and you probably don't because he's not really famous and never will be.
I've been following you guys quite a bit, so I'm actually pretty excited for the question.
Okay, you want to start out with the question?
Okay, sure. Okay, Anthony, if that is your name. No. Why does a self-care dude need Mary to manage the self-care dude's business activities?
Mary?
Yes, Mary.
So when I start out in social media, things start to move quick, and I couldn't manage it. So
wait a minute, the self-care dude couldn't manage his self-care dude image?
Well, look, you're only as strong as your weakest link here, GD. So what I was thinking was, how do I better utilize my time across other platforms so that I can be a more effective speaker and comic? And that's to use my community to the best of my abilities. So Mary is my top dog.
I missed this.
I'm sorry, Matt. You'll get your turn, Matt. So shouldn't it be called a Mary Care dude? Because Self isn't doing it anymore. Mary's doing it. I'm just trying to see where people are spending their money and where their money's going.
I'm trying to figure out how you know about Mary and I don't. Well, I don't see anything about Mary anywhere in this stuff. Who?
That's a subliminal messenger. She calls the shots. I'm just behind the scenes doing the work.
So are you out actually performing in comedy clubs? Yes or
yes?
Okay.
And does Mary tell the jokes, or are you telling the jokes? I'm gonna keep bringing Mary back into this because it seems to be working. No,
no, it's definitely working. I'll give it to you. But no, Mary's not telling the jokes. I'm the one running the show on that front.
Okay. Now, are you also? Because I'm a little confused here. Are you also doing like I don't know, like life coaching type of talks, or the self-care dude is just for a label for your comedy? I'm a little confused about that. Are you doing like serious self-care talks?
So self-care, I mean, I dubbed myself the self-care dude because I really didn't know what to call myself now. I wasn't really sure. It's like, what am I? You know, I'm making all this content. It's inspiring and people like it, but I didn't really know what route to go. And at the time, this stays in this room, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's listening.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Go ahead.
Except Mary.
The girls were into self-care.
Oh.
This will be a good segue. 90% of my audience is women.
Oh, good for you.
So, you know, we try to make the right decision, but it just started out as a name. It didn't really have too much meaning at the time, but now it's I think it encompasses a lot of my my content creation, which is mostly inspirational content. And now we're starting to layer in and, you know, kind of batch it to my audience because I have a large following, a lot of the comedy that I'm starting to do.
So you're like the Matt Rife of inspirational guys or something.
I guess you could do that. I mean, if you want to get canceled like him, then maybe.
Is he canceled? I don't know. I don't know if there really is such a thing as canceled. I have to think about this because I'm sure somebody will come up with an exception. But I think in most cases, canceled means you make more money.
Damn it! Somebody cancel me.
Yeah, I tried to get myself canceled. I put out a petition. I got 11 signatures to get myself canceled. I couldn't get people to cancel me. But it does, you know, that whole thing. Is he canceled? I don't know.
They've been beating him up for years on, you know, stupid shit he said, you know, a long time ago, something about giving some kid advice and his mother, and they just keep reposting it. And I don't know whether it be for publicity or commerce, but whatever have you, it's still, you know, still circulating the media. So I'm sure it's good for him as far as I know.
Yeah. You know, I think you know what it is? It just occurred to me. Cancel doesn't mean shit. Ignored is when you're being hurt. When they ignore you, then you're in deep doo-doo. Cancel doesn't mean shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it being ignored is definitely not anything anybody in show business ever wants.
Yeah, that's the kiss of death. So cancel doesn't mean shit. Let me know when he's being ignored.
Right.
I don't think he's being now.
I don't think he's being ignored yet. So
okay.
We'll see what he looks like 5 years from now. But it looks like he's just starting to get some good momentum again.
Yeah, I don't want to stick with Matt Rife the whole time, but I do think having a manly chin added to you definitely is impressive to the ladies. I think he bought that chin off the rack.
Before he came on camera, he did not have that chin. He was actually drawing that on while he was in.
No, I'm not talking about Anthony. I'm talking about Matt Rife. Matt Rife has it. If you look at pictures of him 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he has a skinny little girly chin, and now he's got this carved out Hollywood chin.
I've never. So I don't know what Matt. I don't know who Matt.
I know you don't. You don't know who Bill Burr is. You don't know who.
Well, I've heard Bill Burr's name. I've heard Bill Burr's name. I know he's a self-help dude. So
self-help, self-care. He's just Bill Burr. No. He's the original self-care guy,
Anthony's
right?
Self-care. Bill Burr's self-help.
All right. Now, Anthony, how when you're doing comedy clubs, how much material do you have? Can you do an hour?
No, I'm nowhere near an hour. I'm still very much so in my infancy with it, and I think that's actually kind of my leverage in the game. Especially since I'm posting a lot of my stories and trying to keep track of, you know, this journey because I am a new comedian. I've only been in this space for maybe 5 or 6 months. So
wow,
I did my first show and they gave me 15 minutes. So I did pretty good with 15 minutes, and I was pretty happy with that. Being that I haven't been in this at the time, I had only been in this space for 2 months.
Yeah, 15 minutes is a lot for your first
is
show.
a lot,
Generally, it's
yeah.
like 8
Yeah.
for your first show. Good for you. So where were you creating your own opportunities? How are you getting? How are you establishing your career? Do you have a plan? That's a lot of
Or
too
does
much.
Mary have a plan for you?
Yeah,
GD, I'm coming for you.
Mary, Mary.
Mary definitely has a plan. If I didn't have a plan, I'd tell you what, I call Mary right now. She'll say, "This is what we're going to do." And I'd say, "Okay, we're going to
No,
do
I
it."
just heard the Italian in you. This is what we're gonna do.
It comes out. But no, we have a good plan. It's right now it's about hitting as many mic nights and as many clubs as we possibly can and networking. And when I first entered the space, comedians really welcomed me, and I felt like there was a lot of community, and I really loved that, and that's what kept me coming back to the space. And the more I showed up to those same mics and interacted with the same comedians and went down the same circuit, and hit all those big spots throughout New York and New Jersey, I started to see that like maybe the tide was changing a little bit. I saw a lot of the comedians were starting to be a little bit more resistant to me. And to me, at first, I was a little offended, but now I'm looking at it as, okay, like, this is what's going to happen. People are going to start to see you doing something and doing something pretty strategically. And so, yeah, we have a good plan, and it's just about being consistent. And every week we sit down with Mary.
All right, now you guys got to let me off the hook here because I feel like there's an inside joke here about Mary that I am not, and I don't.
There's something about Mary. Okay,
There is something about Mary.
Yes.
This is
Something about Mary. No, Mary.
How did GD find out about it? I'm not going to ask him because he's going to give me some bullshit, sarcastic answer.
Right.
How did he?
Mary found me in my content early on and reached out to me and said, "Hey, it looks like you're starting to do a lot. If you ever need help, let me know." And I said, "Well, I'll keep you posted. I'm something of a loner. I don't really accept help, and I don't really know how to do certain things like that." So I went on about it for another 6 months, and she was persistent, and I knew she stuck with me through a lot of my content and a lot of that journey. And I needed somebody who was really going to be my right hand and look out for me.
Right hand.
To, shit like.
Yeah, I call my right hand Mary. Sometimes I call it Debbie.
Or little Debbie.
Well, yeah. Would Mary consider helping out us? No, I get a lot. I get these social media people wanting to help us out all the time, and I basically I treat them very rudely. I treat them extremely rudely. But it sounds like Mary's legit. I never even considered that any of them might be legit. I just said, "Oh, you're just going to get me bots and that kind of stuff," and I don't want to.
Well, that's true because and she doesn't handle really any of that. It's up to me to make good content and write good jokes and show up and be at these clubs and whatnot. But Mary is she's effective, she's persistent, and she's a real deal. So I needed someone with me on this journey like that. I couldn't have a half-ass it or somebody who's just gonna drag their feet. I work fast, I move quick, and that's what I need in my circle.
So does GD. I tell you, GD needs a Mary because
I do need a. Technically, I did have a Mary, but I didn't. But Mary didn't know how to do what Mary said Mary wanted to do.
Well, there are two Marys, right? There's Mary the Virgin and Mary.
I had a Mary in the beginning, and she was in the audience when the first time I did my headlining gig, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're like fantastic. I want to manage you." I said, "I don't know anything about management. Tell me what you think managing is." And she did, and I was like, "Okay, you can." I said, "Go ahead, promote, do whatever you want to do, and we'll see what happens." And nothing happened. And then I picked up another Mary, but this Mary was named something else. And the same thing happened. I get these people who want to help me, but they don't know how to help me, so they wind up not helping me.
You're unhelpable.
Yes, that's exactly what I told the large Jew. That's the name he goes by. No, that's the name he goes by. That's how he signed his letter to me. He signed it.
I'm not buying it for a second.
Oh
my God.
Oh,
We've been canceled, ladies and gentlemen. This is the
No.
last program.
No.
We won't be on tomorrow.
That's how he signed it. He signed it, the large Jew. Okay, I think I have witnesses.
You said it again.
Yes, because that's how. Look, if that's the name he wanted to be, that's how he signed it. Who am I to deny it?
I just want to tell people, address your hate mail to gdsoffunny@gmail.com. And please leave me out of it because. Wow.
I mean, I can tell you his real name, but I don't want to do that because.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. We're deep enough. We are.
Yeah.
We're deep.
Too deep.
Okay, because that's how he signed it, though. And so I'm going to see if he can help me. I am not so proud that I will not take help. I just am so proud that I don't want to be hurt because I can hurt myself. I've been doing that great for 10 years. I need somebody, same. Yeah, I need somebody who can help me and advance me beyond my skill set because my skill set is limited to being charming and good looking. That's all I know how to do. I can't even be funny. I can't even be charming and good looking.
If that's what you got, that's what you got. You got to work it.
I got to work with what I got.
Right. Anthony, it's Chicago. Now that Chicago, when we're talking, we had somebody on from Chicago the other day, and I was saying, who was it? It was what was his name? Come on, I'm having a senior moment here. John Stage. He's in Chicago, and we're talking about the amount of opportunities in Chicago. There's quite a few comedy clubs. Are you in Chicago, in the city or suburbs?
No, so I'm in New Jersey, right outside of New York. So
I thought you were in Chicago.
Oh hell no! I'm not trying to get murdered out there.
No wonder you don't sound like you sound like a New York. For some reason, where did I get Chicago from? Mary must have told me that. Fucking Mary.
You're probably Mary. Now, who's that wagging their tail behind you? And can you get them to say a few words on your behalf?
Wow.
Come here.
So that's Mary.
No.
That's Remy.
Oh, you actually are having coffee with the dog. Check that out.
Coffee with the dog. I only just woke up like 40 minutes ago. I had to walk.
I haven't woken up yet. I'll be up in about 40 minutes. But no, I don't know why I got Chicago. Fuck me. Just fuck me. That's all. Oh, so you're in New Jersey. So New Jersey's a whole other thing. What, Northern Jersey?
Central-ish. That's debatable.
Oh, so
what's the smell? What I can tell when you open your window. What do you smell? I can tell you what part of Jersey you're in.
Actually, Jersey's not bad. It's Staten Island that smells. It's New York. It's Staten Island. It's because of that Arthur Kill, whatever it is, landfill.
Well, no, Chicago, New Jersey used to smell pretty rank.
Yeah, with the factories at the very northern tip.
Yeah,
you get that Staten Island stink and the New Jersey manufacturing pollution, and they all mix together, and you just want to die. But if you go deep, Jersey's a really nice state once you get past that crap in the northern tip there, the New York residue.
So once you get past the tip, the shaft is okay. Gotcha.
Yes. Yes.
That's actually kind of true because the armpit of New Jersey would be like Secaucus, which smells terrible. I mean, could make your eyelashes roll. It's just disgusting.
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
But when I open my windows, I smell the ocean. So I'm down by Monmouth County area, so I don't have to smell that Secaucus crap.
You got good pizza where you are?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely better than Chicago, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Chicago brags about their pizza too, but New York does. But once you get like to where GD is, pizza is really ketchup on bread with like Swiss cheese or something.
Rye bread, thank you.
Okay.
To be politically correct.
Okay.
It's rye bread. Seedless.
I understand Chicago does brag about their deep dish, but I mean, I'm in New York, New Jersey. This is as good as pizza gets. I mean, I don't know, that you can beat that.
Yeah. So with your name in Jersey, do you get a lot of you're mobbed up, or like people just assume with your name and being from Jersey that you're a Soprano fan, a Soprano family member?
No, I try not to. See, the thing in Jersey is every New Jersey guy with an Italian name or some kind of Italian accent, they brand themselves as the Italian guy, and they
Right.
tout this Italian American attitude, and that's cute. And I appreciate heritage, and I come from an Italian American household, but I don't use my name in any regard to say, oh yeah, I'm fucking Casazia, what I
Right.
get.
So you don't drive an IROC or have the little horn around your neck.
God no! Oh my God!
All right.
Now, do you use the big hand gestures when you're talking? I mean, do you
Always,
move with your
always.
hands? Okay.
Yes, I'm very theatrical. I don't usually catch it, but somebody always points it out, and they're like, you Italians, you could just not use your words at all. You just use your goddamn hands to do everything.
Now, my question is, how many eyes have you put out talking to people?
I can't say I've put out any eyes, but I'm sure my mom, who's even worse than me, she's definitely taken out an eye or two. That's
because I mean, let's put you may not have noticed this, but I'm blackish. And
Blackish?
So, yeah, I'm black. And so we have myths about Italians, just like people have myths about blacks. And the myth that we had was that every time you talk, if you put an eye out, you put like a little teardrop on your face from every eye you put out. So I was just wondering, because I didn't see any teardrops on your face. So I was just curious if you were like a real Italian or not.
You racist fuck.
I'm more of a lover than a fighter.
Okay.
That's cool. I like that. Now I got one more Italian question: is sauce or gravy?
Oh man, I don't even know if I can plant my flag on where I believe the answer is. I'm not gonna lie. The Italians, they can't figure it out either.
Oh no, I've had several Italian comics on, and Victor Di. I always have trouble saying his name.
Is out of his mind.
Yeah, but he said, "Oh, thank you for calling it sauce," because he gets into heated arguments with Eric Tardioni, who's a gravy guy, and it's just like, yeah, what's the big deal? Call it whatever you want, as long as it tastes good. But it's a war.
So for you guys, when I say you guys, I mean Italians. Sauce versus gravy is like MLK versus Malcolm X for blacks.
No.
No,
it's as if they were one person, and you were arguing over, do we call him MLK or do we call him Martin Luther King?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
In my humbled opinion, we call it sauce. But if we're at a family dinner and somebody has a couple drinks, they'll start calling it fucking gravy. That's what I mean when I say the Italians. They don't have a clue. They're just calling it whatever. It's like a fugazi. It fucking doesn't exist. It's whatever you want it to be called.
Right.
So did your mom make great gravy or sauce?
Oh yeah.
So what restaurant or someplace could you like say, Mom, this place makes stuff is better than you? And what can you say to your mother?
Don't you never say something like that.
Out of your mind,
what can you say to get your mother to slap your face? What restaurant can you say that and your mom would just slap your face?
Man, I wouldn't even be able to get the words out of my mouth. She'd already have me on the ground.
Yeah. Now you're a single guy, Anthony?
I'm single. Oh yeah.
Now,
you hear that, ladies?
I'm thinking Jersey Shore, summertime. You take your shirt off, the chicks are coming. You got a bevy full of every night a different girl. You're like, ladies' man. No.
I went through a serious relationship a couple years ago. I took some time off to focus on me. And when you're going through a breakup,
you're masturbating.
Yeah, you better just be home and be touching yourself.
Okay.
You sort it out on your own time. But,
I could hook you up with a turbo, but don't press the red button.
I'll be in the emergency room by lunch. Are you kidding me?
What is?
It's nice to be at the shore, that's for sure.
Kelly said.
No pun intended.
What did Kelly say about the red button here in the chat room? I'd so put my finger in it just to see what the red button does. Finger.
Well, I guess she puts a finger in the turbo and push the red button to find out. But to be honest, Kelly, looks like you need 3 fingers.
You need a big fat finger to actually
3 fingers, yeah.
And
something else in there, like a cucumber, and fucking let it rip that thing apart.
Yeah, centrifugal forced ejaculation. Just that, and they actually have like basically anagrams of it. So it's just so very weird, like to have all the scientific technology, and that's what we do with it.
The wording, the marketing behind that promo was something else. I gotta tell
Yeah,
you.
they're very, very cutting edge in their marketing, without a doubt.
And matter of fact, that thing looks like it'll cut your edge if you use it wrong.
So, if you don't mind me asking, how old you're in your 20s, right?
I'm
Yes.
28. Yep.
All right, good for you. Prime of your life.
You're like 1/5 of our age.
Well, yeah, and that's the best
Yes,
time
I
to
am.
be.
That's a good observation.
Best time to be, and enjoy that time. But being single at that time, man, I probably made the mistake of getting married too young, because I would have loved to have been carefree, single and carefree, 28 years old. Life is yours.
And
So
it is, and people my age should embrace that a little bit more. I meet a lot of people in my age range, and they're single and they're depressed. They got all these problems. They're taking whatever have you to keep their day going. And hey, I'm not knocking anyone, but you got to get right with yourself. And a lot of people, they're not doing that, so they don't get to enjoy this time of their life.
right, yeah. Now, so you've only been in it a couple of months. Are you strategizing like a career out of this? Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? Is the
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah?
absolutely. I think I really enjoy the writing process and creating and helping people kind of sort out what their purpose is. And I think I can do that with comedy. I see it's not, and I don't want to speak out of term here because I'm sure a couple comedians will try to kick my ass at the next show or something. But I don't think it's as
He's 4 miles away.
I don't think it's is as complicated as people make it. You write jokes, you test them, you train. You go to mic nights, you fall flat on your face, you get back up and try again. So, we have a good strategy behind what we're doing. We're not just doing shit to do it willy nilly. We're doing it to make a career out of this, and evidently, hopefully, have our own specials one day and be at some of the more major comedy clubs. And I want to share a lot of that journey on my social media. So it's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, would you be satisfied being able to make a good living from comedy, but not being like Bill Burr or you can name any of the top guys, not being like a nationally known guy, but being able to live a very comfortable and prosperous life, doing East Coast clubs and stuff like that, and up in that, would that be satisfying for you?
I think so. I think future me would be very okay with just that. I think me right now, because I'm young, I'm new to the space. It's still in its infancy, and I recognize that. But I think right now it's about how far can I go.
Right. I don't want to limit your dreams. When you're young, you should be dreaming for the stars, reaching for the stars. But I think a lot of people get disappointed and that's where a lot of people give up. It's like like there's shame in being a guy who can take care of himself, support a family, whatever your goals are, but still do what you love. I think there's a lot of pride in that, but a lot of people, that's a disappointment for them, and it's like it's weird for me to say. As long as you're doing what you love, who cares about fame?
I agree, man. I think that's a big deal. I think the people that have made it, you look at Bert Kreischer, people say he wasn't even funny. He just did what he wanted to do. And you got people like Natasha Leggero. She's stripping at the Improv last week. Like, that's totally normal. You've got all these people that, you look at Jim Carrey. I just got done watching his movie on Andy Kaufman. And, a lot of the things these guys are talking about is just give up. If you're okay and you're okay with your ego getting broken down and not being funny every time you go out there to a club, or maybe sucking a time or two, all week I've sucked. All week. Every show I hit this week, I sucked.
What's that like? I have no idea. What's that like?
Yes, you do. You do it every morning on the show.
Yeah, but not on stage. I've never sucked on stage. I don't know what it's like.
Well, we have to verify that.
It's
Actually,
a
I got. Wait a minute. A cable coming in from Ron Kane right now. Yes, he does. That's all.
it's a big mind game, you know. I was driving home from the city last night. I just did a mic night up at Midtown Manhattan. It's above a deli, some hole in the wall, you know. It's funny because Jack Crawford, defensive end for the Oakland Raiders way back when, was actually up there doing some stand up, and I caught that. I was like, holy shit! But totally aside from that. I think it can be a hard experience, and I didn't come from an easy childhood or anything like that, so I feel pretty conditioned to dealing with being let down, as sad as that may sound, or being disappointed. And so when a joke doesn't do well, I don't point my finger. I go home and rewrite a joke and try again.
Yeah. Bert and Natasha are turning comedy into a fleshy freak show. Yeah, I don't get people getting excited by Bert Kreischer ripping his shirt off.
He's a fucking idiot.
I don't get it at all. I mean, I know comedy is subjective, but I look at that and I say, what the hell is funny about a fat guy taking his shirt off?
I was saying, because there was a comedian, I can't remember his name now, but he was kind of buff. He used to take his shirt off. And I can't remember his name. Ron?
Matt Napo?
Matt Napo. Yeah, but
He was super buff though. He was like he was like Marky Mark with a third nipple. You know, I read a study the other day. It said 1 in 18 people have a third nipple. I find that hard to believe because I've seen a lot of bare chests. I've never seen a girl with 3 nipples. You would think if 1 in 18. That would mean, you know, that's a pretty high rate. You would think in 64 years I would have seen a third nipple.
I think
odds.
But where is it? Is it like underneath? Do you have to lift it to see it, or is it where?
No, it's generally on your tit. It's like one tit has 2 nipples.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that that's something people might be advertising.
No, but you would see it in 64 years. Seeing enough titties, you would notice. Hey, that one look. Am I seeing the?
But maybe maybe that third nipple is actually gives them more distinguishing taste, and so someone like us would never see someone with a third nipple because that person has extra taste in their men, and so they would never lower themselves to someone like us.
I don't know, maybe, but I don't know
because I've never seen one either.
1 in 18 seems like the odds are you would. And listen, when I was in my 20s, and not to brag, it just sounds like bragging, but it's not. I was quite a woman. I was with a lot of women, and I saw more than my fair share of titties, and I never saw one with 3 nipples.
Well, I've been in the dating scene now for the last year, actively dating. I can't say I've run across any third nipples.
Right, even in the dark. You'd notice something like that. I don't know how I got on that. Oh, Marky Mark, because Marky Mark has he's the only one I've
actually know that. He was with a band, right?
Marky Mark, and he was with the band, and then he became an actor.
Bunch? Is that him, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then now he's an actor. He's big time. He's in lots of movies.
Thoughts and prayers guy. He's a thoughts.
Is he the same guy as Mark Wahlberg? Is that the same person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know who he is. I never noticed he had okay.
Yeah, and he likes to take his shirt off, and you notice he's got his is actually below the pec. Like he's got the nipple, and then he's got the pec, and then he's got a little nipple on his chest there. I would have it removed, but I still haven't had.
Maybe that's where all his talent comes from.
Yeah, is he a thoughts and prayers guy? Is he a thoughts and prayers guy? Is he a religious guy, like a guy who's found God?
Yeah, recently I see him on social media. I think he was with Flavor Flav or some goddamn buddy the other day, praying to something. I don't know what that. Praying for more money, or praying for prayers, or praying for somebody. You know, I don't know.
Well, if he's praying for money, I think it's working in his case.
In any case, I'm going to start praying.
Yeah, well, last night I had a guy on about praying, and it's just like he thinks he cures miracle diseases with praying. But I've tried praying. Maybe I've just been doing it all wrong, but it just doesn't seem to ever work for me. And I even tried with the template. I went through the whole the Our Father stuff, and you can change. That's what a template is. You can just change the words, and Mary will tell you.
Mad
You
libs.
get this template, and you can just like put in your own words. So this guy last night, though, it's interesting because he was breaking down the Lord's prayer word by word, and he was like, "I have to figure out what R means, like OUR," and he spent weeks studying what Jesus meant by the word "Our Father." Like, what does he mean by "R"? Why not "my Father"? And then he spent weeks studying what the word "Father" means, and and then heaven is like. I think you're getting too. There is Bible literalists, and then there's taking every single word and figuring out the possible hundreds of thousands of meanings this word could have.
See now, my first question would be to him. Since he said, "I want to know what the word hour means," I would say, but Jesus would have used Aramaic, so he wouldn't have said hour. So what word? That would have been my first question. Is like, what would have been in Aramaic, not English? Really,
I
if he
thought he
was to be
spoke
that anal.
Yiddish. No, I
No,
don't know.
he spoke Aramaic. At least, okay. I have an autographed signed copy of the New Testament by Jesus, and it's in Aramaic.
You were at the Sermon on the Mount show.
I got a signed first edition copy
Well,
of the New Testament.
let me just
Jesus
tell you
signed it.
something. A lot of people claim to be at Woodstock. And I know they weren't there because I was there. Uh, but this Temple on the Mount thing, I've never heard anybody claim to be there before.
I didn't
So.
say I was there. I said I have a
Oh,
signed edition. It was handed down to me by
okay.
my freed name, because not all of my ancestors were slaves. Some of them were freed. 27% of my ancestry was freed. 9% was Jewish. They were the ones that handed it down to me.
No, see, well, maybe it was the large Jew. What was the big Jew? What was it?
The
The large.
large Jew. Yeah, the
Large
large
But
Jew.
they're not known for handing stuff out.
Well, I had to pay for it, but it got handed.
Okay.
It got handed to me.
Now
Once I
the
handed
story
over.
becomes more believable.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes more sense.
Once I
Right.
handed over the money, they handed me down the book.
Yeah. Let's get back to Anthony here. The self-care aspect of this stuff. Were you a kind of guy who read a lot of the self-help book? Did you spend a lot of time in the library in the self-help section?
Hell no. I don't do what I do for you see a lot of these self-help guys buy my ebook, buy my this, go to this, click that, go here, come there to, put fucking $1 in their pocket. And these guys, I believe they're adding a lot of value to the space and what they're doing, but I don't think they're doing it for the right reasons. And I've never been that type of person. I use my life experience and my personal stories and how I personally feel to kind of judge my direction in the space. So I do read some self-help books, but I don't sit there and, each line, all right, wake up at 5 a.m. and fucking write down your blessings and
Right, yeah.
and do this. And, it's just too much. That's too much. People need flexibility to have space to be who they need to be.
I think gratitude is a really good thing. But I do think, that whole structure of getting it feels like you're joining the military sometimes when they start to lay out all the rules about what about affirmations? Are you a big affirmations guy? Like, I got whatever the cliches are.
After I was driving home last night and I was being a big baby about the feedback I got at the mic. And I told you I had a terrible week. I was just falling flat on my face and I knew it, but I also know I have to show up to find that out and find my set and put together a good set. And I'm driving home last night and I'm just thinking to myself, why me? Why me? Why me? And then I was like, I went through some affirmations. I'm like, you're the man, you're consistent, you show up. So shit like that, I think, is important. You have to kind of be your own cheerleader in this world because you don't always have people sitting there supporting you and holding your hand through it all.
Right. Well, so I'm thinking last night was
You're
a
not
Wednesday
paying them
night.
enough.
What's that?
Then you're not paying them enough. If you pay them enough, they will sit there and hold your hand. I'm just saying.
And
Ew.
there's no shortage of people that want to be. And people see what I do on social media and they want to be involved and they want to be there. But again, I'm a loner. I like to be alone.
Yeah, this is part of. I think most creative people, if you're honest, except GD, who claims that he likes his company of his wife, which I'm still
I love the
very
company of my
dubious.
wife.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
wait.
She's
Let me
not.
show you my
She's
marriage
not
contract.
listening. You can tell the truth.
No, she is. Her office is right there. She hears
All right.
everything I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Her
All right.
office is
So,
right
all right. There you go. Wednesday night. So I'm thinking last night you were at an open mic that most of the room were comics, not necessarily comedy fans.
Right. And it's a very different atmosphere.
Yeah, you know what? I would never, and it's easy for me to say this, but I would never really get down on that because there's jealousy. There's people are like, I'm purposely not going to laugh at this fucking guy because he's my competition.
And it's true. It's true. So I keep that in the back of my mind, but I love being able to relate with people. So I always try to make it a point to network with these same guys that I know are sitting there grinding their teeth when I'm doing my 5-minute set. But if you can learn to be funny in a room of people that refuse to laugh at you, you know, when you get up for a show in front of people that like you and want to see you and laugh at you, it comes seamlessly. You know, it's a totally different experience.
Well, if you want to steal this, and if I can understand if you don't want to steal this, believe me. My first time doing stand-up, I brought my own laugh track, and I hooked it. I had a remote button, and I hooked it up to the soundboard, and I made a joke about, I bought my own laugh track just in case. But people laughed at that just more than my jokes. Even that, anytime I didn't get a laugh, I would press the button and get like canned laughter, and it made me feel better.
Or just a sign. Just get a sign that says applause and laugh.
Yeah.
But the comedians, they'll chew you up and spit you out if you try to do something funny. They don't like, you know, the comedy community, and not to talk shit about them, but you know, they're very tight. They believe things should be a very particular way, and you deviate from that if you want to innovate and be a trailblazer in your own way. They will alienate you quick.
Yeah, it's very cliquey. I find like because here on Long Island, we hear this every time I go to a club. When you go to see the headliner, but the people who open up, she's known as a club favorite. A club favorite means she's in the clique. She got in the green room, started hanging with people, got accepted. It's really hard for somebody who's a loner to get into the clique or even want to be in the clique because as a introvert or a loner type of guy, cliques are poison. Cliques are the devil. It's what I hate the most in life. Now you tell me in order to be successful, I have to do what I really hate in life. It's a catch-22. But
you know, June Edwards would say that your past life. This is a lesson you need to learn from your past life.
That's true.
June would say that.
Yeah.
But June's not here. Anthony is. Anthony, what would you say? No.
I think it's good though, because I'm so introverted, but I know how to work a room. I'm definitely not the funniest guy in the room. I'm not now. I don't think I'll ever be. I think some people are naturally hilarious.
So what's that like? Because I've never experienced I'm not being the funniest guy in the room. I don't know. Tell me. I'm listening.
I'm pretty sure you have.
We're all the funniest with our clique. We're all the funniest with our clique, right? But if you want to go for the long haul, you want to go far with this, you have to get out of your clique where you feel comfortable and safe. And that's where a lot of people like to stay. I show up. I don't give a shit. I don't want to be a part of your party. Leave me alone. I'm here to get my set in and work through that. And I'm going to get in my car and drive home.
So where do you get your pot from if you don't hang out with comedians?
Luckily in New Jersey, everything's legal, so you go to the dispensary.
It's easier where he is than where I am, and it's been legal here longer than it has been where he is. For me, I have to drive 70 miles to buy it legally. Oh. Somebody I know just went back into the black market who said he basically has better quality at cheaper prices. I filled out a form for mood legal legal weed basically yesterday. They asked me to take a survey, and all I did was beat the hell out of them. They were saying, why won't I order from Mood again? Or what do I say? I won't order from Mood again. Why? Because the quality sucks, the prices are too high, and every question came back to, can you tell us a little more? I said, your quality sucks and your prices are too high. What would make you buy from Mood again? If you had better quality and lower prices, and just kept giving them the same fucking answer for like 20 minutes. I didn't get everything.
That's what AI got them. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it is. They're sitting around smoking their own supply. They're smoking the good shit. That's why they can't understand what you're saying. They go like,
I don't understand this Delta 8 and Delta 9. I think it's like synthetic THC or something.
It's fake. It's not. That's not real weed. Somebody tricked me into smoking that Delta shit once, and it gave me a headache and just cough and
now,
cough.
how is that different from Delta Force? Is that the same? Or
Chuck Norris is not involved, right?
Oh, okay. Because I thought Delta Force was like some kind of kick-ass weed, but he's.
I bet you Chuck Norris gets some good weed.
Oh, he's gotta.
He needs it, right?
Yeah. My uncle, by the way, who just passed away, was the guy who Chuck Norris broke his nose in the Super Bowl commercial with the salt shaker. I don't know if you recall. He threw a salt shaker. Hey, Chuck! Threw the salt shaker at, and Chuck kicked the salt shaker back and broke his nose. But my uncle wasn't a weed smoker. But I think Chuck probably has a line on some good weed. Yeah, he's in California, right? Or Texas? Oh, he's a Texas
Ranger. Get that
Ranger.
far in life looking that good and not have a good hookup for some weed.
Yeah, and probably has a lot of friends in Asia.
Because Willie Nelson has a good hookup for weed, and do you think he looks good for his age?
Well, maybe his hookup isn't as good as we all think it is.
Yeah, well, his age is 90. So
in that case,
he's a fucking dinosaur.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, Willie's been around a long time. I mean, he had hit records before I was born, and I'm old.
That's true, because he was with the original four horsemen from the Bible before he was with the band.
Yeah, good point.
I wonder what his prayer layout looks like.
Yeah. Now, so branching out, have you been at? You mentioned Manhattan and the deli stuff. First of all, the above the deli, could you smell the cheese while you were doing your act?
No, it's like a I don't know what you call it. It's like a kosher deli or something, and you don't smell really anything. But while you're doing your set, you hear people getting rung up. So it's like, you're getting into your set.
I just want to say for people out there,
yeah,
if you're in a deli and it doesn't smell, get out of there. The food sucks.
Yeah, not there for the food, so
yeah. But other than Manhattan, have you ventured out? Have you been down to Philly to perform? Have you been Long Island? Any other places other than Jersey?
I'm not a big Philly guy. I think the major circuit is in Manhattan. If you can master the Manhattan audience, then I think you can start to branch out. And originally I wanted to hit everywhere, Philly and all the boroughs and all these holes in the wall, but it was too much. I have a full-time job, and I have to make sure I'm giving that just as much energy. So, but no, I've been in, Uptown Manhattan, Midtown, just all over Manhattan, hitting as many of these popular spots as I can.
All right, I want to share some insight and I could be wrong. Listen, I get stoned, but I haven't been stoned in 25 days now. But it's always a danger that my brain is still kind of on a stoner level. But watching the Gary Mule Deal thing, first of all, there's a burgeoning thing going on in Astoria, Queens right now, where there's a lot of comedians and a lot of small clubs in one area, and I have liken that to Greenwich Village in the 60s, the folk music scene, where it grew into something really huge in the same way Astoria is building now. Watching the Gary Mule Deer thing, he was talking about in the 60s, and there's Ledbetter's in LA where Steve Martin and John Denver and the Carpenters and the Smothers Brothers and all these people from folk music and comedy came together, and they say the stand-up that became comedy clubs actually grew out of the folk music scene. And it validated my idea that what's going on in Astoria, Queens right now could be a really good opportunity for up and coming comics just to kind of go and experience that. So it's kind of I think people should watch the documentary. It's called My Life is Show Business, but I Can't Prove It. It's about Gary Mulder. But that whole idea of being like the folk music scene of the 60s is where the comedy club came out of. It made a lot of sense to me. And so just for what it's worth, Astoria, Queens has that going on right now. So I know you're saying Manhattan, and yes, if you can master the Manhattan stuff, but there's lots of opportunities, especially to get in with like people who are like Joe List is there all the time. He lives in the neighborhood and he's around these little clubs. To get on a show with him could make or break you, or definitely give you a career boost. So it's just something to think about.
Yeah, there's no shortage of opportunities out there, and I think I would love to hit those different markets for sure, especially if there's something going on in a niche area that maybe something up and coming is taking place. It's just there's only so much time inside of a day, right? So it's like I really have to prioritize where I'm going. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of driving. I'm in Jersey, and I hate traffic, so that doesn't really help me because I'm driving everywhere, and it's a lot of work.
Right.
I don't know if this will help you at all, but it's helped me a lot. When you do some of your podcasts, do them from the toilet. It will save you time because
Mark Norman has done that. I've seen him do a podcast on the toilet taking a shit.
Yeah, so
he hasn't. I think he was at that time I saw him. He was ready to like flash the camera down. I was like, please don't, and he didn't.
Oh man, that's rough.
I would not.
Saying, if you need an extra hour or two during the day, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is it'll give you some overlap.
Now, is Mary helping you with the bookings of the gigs or getting opportunities like that?
Yeah, Mary.
I like Mary.
Yeah, she's pretty relentless in terms of looking for gigs, and she lives on a lot of these Facebook pages, which is where really the bread and butter of these communities reside, is on these Facebook groups and these pages. And she looks at opportunities, she follows up with opportunities and bookings and things like that. She helps with a lot of my social media stuff if I need something created, off the cuff. But she's good. She's versatile, and if she doesn't know something, she'll figure it out.
Wait, is it 1-900 get Mary or 976 get Mary?
1-900 get Mary. I like it.
Now, I was going to ask you, since she's managing, I was going to ask you where she lived. Does she live in New Jersey? But apparently, you said she lives on Facebook. So I was just wondering if she. But okay, that answered that question.
She's actually, if you can believe it, she's actually in the UK, so she's not even in the same country.
That's disappointing to me. I would wanted to meet Mary. I wanted to invite her on the program, but in the UK, different time zones, not going to happen.
You can make
call Man.
Oh yeah,
you can call Man, and he's a different time zone.
Call Man is in Brazil.
I thought he had a Brazilian, but I thought he was in UK.
He was in the UK, but now he's in Brazil.
I bet Mary's watching this right now. If I had to guess,
I think where Carl is actually 1 hour behind us.
Wow! So he isn't even getting this yet. He has to wait another hour.
He's in Rio de Janeiro. He went to Rio.
I hear a lot of people love the Rio de Janeiro. That's a big spot.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I had no idea.
The thing with Carl, I think Carl must be like independently wealthy and keeping it secret.
But he doesn't spend any money on rent because he sleeps in bars under stools, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he says that's just because it's too far to go home, and he doesn't drive. This is the thing with Carl too. He's afraid to drive. He's like Norm Macdonald. He's afraid to drive.
So he's a chauffeur.
He goes to Brazil for like 2 or 3 months at a time. And like, to me, and he does it often, to me, leaving an apartment like that, somebody's got to be paying the bills. It's you got to be paid you got to have money to be on vacation, all that kind of stuff, and still be able to pay your bills back home. I think he's something's
Something illegal. I
he's
smell.
got yes,
I
a
smell a
secret
drug
life.
trade and yeah, like he's got like I think he's got like a coffee plantation.
Oh, look,
And
Mary.
yeah,
Mary's with us. Hello, Mary. I
is
think
that
this
your
is Mary,
Mary?
right? Oh, just catching up. I'm silent help. Leave me out of this. It's all about Anthony. No, it's all about you, Mary. I'm sorry.
So is that your Mary, Anthony?
I know it's not supposed to be all about you. It's all supposed to be about
Mary's
Anthony.
the best. Mary's the best. If I say it, we do it, and she's right. She supports whatever I want to do.
Is she hot?
I think it would be inappropriate to say whether she is or she isn't. She's
No, it would be appropriate to say she is, whether she is or she isn't,
she
and
isn't.
leave me with that at least image that wow, this young guy's got like a hottie working for him in the UK, and that's the life of Riley.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of hot girls with brains, but they're generally pretty lazy. So
Just let me believe that Mary's a hottie, a smoking hottie. Please,
all
just
right.
let me believe that.
She's
All
a
right.
smoking hottie from the UK.
Okay. Now, Uncle Vinny's. Have you performed at Uncle Vinny's?
Uncle Vinny's what? Stress Factory?
No, it's a comedy club in it's northern Jersey, but it's or near northern. It's one of the bigger ones over there. I'm surprised you're not familiar with it.
No, I think it's Uncle Vinny's Stress Factory.
Is it Stress Factory?
It's the only one I know.
I should know that. I should know that.
I did a mic in the past there, but I haven't done a show there. Again, it's just being so new to the space. I have to pay my dues.
All right, I'm gonna I'll put in a word for you. They're supposed to sponsor us, right? The only reason that we're not affiliated with them is because I'm lazy. But we had several affiliations possibilities open. He just kept saying I got to come meet with him over there, and I just never did. But he's still open to that. By the way, we don't. There's no knock 'em dead comedy today, so we don't have to get off Governor. So just don't remind me to get off Governors today. GD.
I forgot to remind you.
Well, we're not there. We're not there yet.
Good.
I'm just telling you, we don't have to get off. And the second guest scheduled today, Gene Moran, is not here on time, so we can continue on with this if you want. Can you stay a little while longer, Anthony?
Yeah, we'll keep it going until your second guest is here. Why not?
Oh, very cool. But yeah, so if I can make, I will definitely mention you when I reach back to the guy at Uncle Vinny's about doing some work with him. I'll mention you, and that you're going to become a club favorite there, because I know a guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know a guy that knows a guy.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think that club that works there. That kind
of Matt right now. Matt's gonna be on the phone saying, "I got this comedian. He fell off a truck.
Yeah,
I got a good price. He fell off the truck. What I'm gonna
I'll give you a
tell
good price on this one. He's a good one. Just don't ask any questions.
He's a friend of mine, not yet a friend of ours, if you know what I'm saying. But I would like you to kind of give him a look over and look out for him. He's a good kid.
Yeah. If the police stop by, I got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no. The police know better. They're paid off.
Yeah, on my payroll. No, I appreciate that, and I think that's a lot of what people need to do if they want to get somewhere with this. And I think that's for any career. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. And granted, I'm an introvert. I know I'm in a space that demands I not be that. So I love doing podcasts, getting on shows, getting on stage and being able to network with people, because I think there's so much for me to still learn. And there's
now I'm noticing you got like a professional podcasting better than Willie or GD has, but a setup there with good looking microphone, windscreen, or the arm and all that kind of stuff. Do you have your own podcast or are you? No,
I do. So, I do something on Saturday afternoons at 12 o'clock where I just do like a weekly powwow. I wouldn't say it's a podcast. I started it out as more of a informational type thing, but it's segueing into a lot of my comedy now, where I'm kind of using it as a platform to try different things and kind of branch out. And so we do that every Saturday at 12. So I have a decent setup. I've been in, the space for a while trying to figure it out. So
Yeah.
Okay, I am tired of defending myself. First of all, I'm not trying to compensate for anything, so I don't need to be standing in front of a big mic. Okay, I'm
are you taking a
comfortable.
crack at me, GD? I feel
I'm
attacked.
just saying. No,
You're
I'm just
tired of
saying.
defending yourself. I feel attacked.
Well, I want to call Carol and ask her about this. You don't have to compensate for anything, because of what I've heard, as far as black men go, you come up a little short in your blackness. The Jewish
Yes,
side,
that
I
is
heard
true.
when you pull your pants down, the Jewish side, the Jewish genes are self-evident.
I am a disappointment to my father. However, I never had to sleep with my father, so the ladies are happy.
All right.
That's
It's
what's
not
good.
the size of the ship; it's the motion of the ocean, right?
I have my dinghy's okay.
But it doesn't matter about the size of the microphone. It's the clarity and that it looks professional. It makes people think that you're a real podcaster rather than a
Now I
guy
happen
sitting.
to notice that his mic still has skin on it. Your mic has been circumcised.
That's true. Well, my mic is Jewish. What can I tell you? That's why people think I'm a Jew. I get all.
And that you still hate, and yet you still hate them, Matt. They
Thank
say,
you.
I'm not saying that you do. I'm just saying that they accuse Matt of being Jewish and that he hates Jews.
Right. He's a Jew hater. A Jew hating Jew. No, I'm not a Jew hater. I love Jews. You know what? I have been.
Jewish.
I had one of the greatest loves of my life was a Jewish girl, and she had to dump me because I was a Gentile. Her father made her, and she came to me with tears and was like, "We have to break up," because her father. I was unclean. You cannot get married to this gentleman. So,
You were a shrimp?
huh?
You're a shellfish? You're just too shellfish? Unclean. See,
Because I was a Gentile, I was
unclean.
unclean. I was swine. I'm basically akin to being swine. I was like, well, I tell them to have a bacon sandwich and get out of my life. Yeah. But so no, I haven't think for Jewish women. I think Jewish women are hot, man. So
I've seen some really cute Jewish girls, and I'm not Jewish. I was raised Catholic, and sometimes I think, what if just for my entertainment, what if I get them to come to the other side? What would it take? Because I see a lot of them, and they won't even look at me unless you're Jewish. They won't.
Right.
They won't intertwine.
You can't even fake it, my friend. You can't even fake being Jewish. I could, because I sound like Jackie Mason, or I sound kind of New York Jew, but you sound Italian.
Yeah. I'm not Jewish. By no stretch of the imagination am I a Jew.
Are you still a Catholic? Do you consider yourself a Catholic? See, the thing with Catholic is, I know almost everybody I grew up with was raised Catholic, including myself, and none of them actually go to the Catholic Church ever. Like, they haven't been since communion or confirmation or whatever it was. That was the last time they said. I didn't even make my confirmation. I didn't make it that far.
Yeah, we grew up poor, so I couldn't do any of that as much as my parents wanted us to. But I didn't grow up too religious. I would say now where I am, I'm more spiritual about things, and I have my beliefs, I think, in certain things, but I'm not, turn to page 65 and -4 to read section. Not any of that.
I like the way you just put that. They usually, it's more like John 3:16 or whatever. Turn to page 354.
It's just not my thing. It's just not for me.
Me neither. Which is kind of, it's hard for me to kind of not be confrontational when people are like really. I believe, and too bad our next guest is. It seems like he's stiffing us here, because I wanted to get into this whole idea about all these wars. I think organized religion. I have no problem with people who have faith or believe in God or whatever you want to call it, but I think organized religion is the cause of all these wars, and it's not just. it's not just this belief that God is on our side, but it's also the people who are controlling those people who think God is on our side to start wars like that. Like, why would one God who created everybody want to just see everybody killing each other all the time? It doesn't make any sense to me. But when you think about it as controlling populations and money that flows from one side to the other, that's when it all seems to make sense.
Well, technically, it's many gods, according to the Old Testament. You know, according to Genesis, it's many gods because it says
Many,
make. Yeah,
many or
because it says,
many?
well, many, many, many gods, many,
minis.
Wow.
many.
Wow.
Because technically, I'd say the word Elohim is masculine and feminine, and it's also plural. So it's many of them, and so that they could make different groups and have them war. I'm just saying technically, it's possible.
Wow.
If they,
Yeah.
if you want to believe in like a literal translation of like the old Hebrew Bible.
Do you read no, it was written in what, Aramaic, or was it
No,
written?
the New Testament. The New Testament. No, the New Testament is written in Greek and I think some Aramaic, but Jesus spoke in Aramaic. The Old Testament is Hebrew.
Now last night I kind of scored some brownie points with the minister last night because it seemed like I was well educated in the theology stuff because I brought up about Matthew. Because he mentioned Matthew when we were talking about the Lord's Prayer, and I said I have questions about Matthew because I've been reading the book of Matthew, and I have questions of Matthew was the tax collector who Jesus called, or was there another Matthew? Because he writes the book, he talks about himself in the third person, like Trump does. Like, that kind of thing. And he said, this is one of the questions that the old theologians have been arguing about for 2,000 years. And I was like, so he was like impressed with, and I was just, spitballing. I don't know about this shit, but it was good to see him like thinking like I was like a serious scholar of the Bible. I don't know shit about it.
That's always fun to just lead the victim.
Yeah. So he's thinking like I'm like really I don't know, like I put a lot of thought into it. I'm just confused because my name is Matthew, and when I'm reading the book of Matthew, I want to feel like, yeah, he's one of the stars, he's one of the rock stars of the Bible. And then when I hear Matthew writing about Matthew, I'm like, this guy just a weirdo like Trump, like talks about himself in the third person.
None of them wrote their own books anyway. All of those books are attributed. They were written by someone else in their name.
They probably had a Mary. If I had,
none of them wrote their own books.
There are lots of Marys.
Was not written by Matthew. Luke was not written by Luke. John was written by John. And the only ones who's I think that might be written is like Paul, and that's because his books are a collection of his letters.
Yeah. Well, even in the book of Matthew, he talks about Simon, Peter, who was known as Simon, and Luke, who was known. Like, wait a minute, why is everybody using aliases? Were they all friggin' mobbed
criminals?
up?
They're all mobbed
criminals.
They're on the run.
Jesus guy. I got this guy. He just fell off a truck.
Everybody's using alias. They're all like, yeah. What's your name?
For you. I got
Billy the Kid.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like the other 17 messiahs. This messiah is a good messiah.
Right.
This is a decent guy. Give him a chance.
Yeah. Now, we had the other day on a psychic medium who was her thing was about relationships, but we were getting into reincarnation. Do you have? I mean, does that fall anywhere? And do you give that any credence? The idea of being born again.
I think I'm more focused on what's actually happening right now rather than thinking about if I'm coming back as a tree or a fucking bird.
Yeah, I don't know. That is the Indian kind of vision. You come back as a butterfly or whatever. I don't know. That part we didn't even talk about because when we were talking about having.
She would have told you that's not possible. She would have told you that we have to evolve, not devolve.
Are you sure because she's coming back in February?
Well, I'm pretty sure, like I said, a lot of what she says is familiar ground from where I was educated. It's just different verbiage, and so it's almost like the philosophy is the same. It's
What are the
just
nouns the same or just the verbs?
I think some of the adverbs are nouns. I
How
think
about the
some of the
pronouns? What
I
are
think
your
some of the
pronouns?
I think some of the angels' names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Then they weren't. If they weren't angels, then
They transitioned, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But maybe because he brings up a good point. This coming back as a dog or a cat or whatever. Maybe that makes the math add up because I brought up that whole thing about 8 billion people and where do these new souls come from. Maybe that's how the math adds up. If you're coming back as a gorilla or an orangutan, or
And I think there's also there's difference between reincarnation and transubstantiation as well. So it's like I said, it's
uh, now you're a
every
dog.
time I think I'm out, every time I think I'm out of religion, they drag me back in.
They drag you back in. Now, you're a dog guy, Anthony. How long you had that dog since he was a pup?
Yeah, so I have two dogs. I have German Shepherd. He's gonna be 10 this year. I've had him since I was 18.
Wow.
So he's been with me the entirety of my adult life. We've been through a lot of shit. And then I have another dog, Lily, who's been with us for about 1.5 years now, 2 years. So
Wow.
How
Dog guy. So I'm not allowed to have dogs. I was a dog guy my whole life. My wife takes the place of my dogs. We have cats, and not allowed to get dogs. But being a dog guy, you bond with that dog. Do you take them with you everywhere you go? Are you like, hey, come on, get in the truck, we're going, or do you leave them at home and say goodbye to them and tell them, I'll be back in 3 hours? Do you do that?
I say, all right, man. I'll see you later. Don't fucking destroy anything.
Yeah. Now it looks like you're an apartment guy, right? You're not a house guy. It's hard to get an apartment with dogs and with pets and stuff, or
Well, as it turns out, if you certify your dog as a service animal, nobody can say shit to you.
wow.
Now I'm pretty sure it's easier to get an apartment with a dog than it is to get an apartment if they know you're a comedian. But I'm just curious.
I wouldn't lead with being a comedian, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure.
Now,
I was just thinking,
to get the dog certified as a service dog, you got to go in there with the dark glasses and like make believe you're blind, that kind of thing.
You go online, you fucking type in his info, and they send you a certificate with a little like license and.
Oh, we're getting some scammy info here that we could share with them. I love it.
The leasing officer had said to do this for the apartment complex, so she hustled me, and I bought in. I was like, "That's not a bad idea. I'm going to take you up on it."
I love her. I love her because she probably has difficulty renting unless people have their dogs certified. I love this lady. It seems to me you have a gift. Well, that's what I was just going to go with, like the Mary thing. It seems like you have a gift for cultivating women who are very helpful in your life.
I think they see like I need help. I think they see me as a project of some kind. And I think that's just because I'm in my own head 24 hours a day, and they see me, and I think they look at me like maybe I'm a lost puppy. Like I look confused, but I'm very much so paying attention.
I like that you're playing because there's a line I have in one of my songs about girls. They either want bad boys or little lost puppies, and I think you're playing the little lost puppy thing angle up. Good. Listen, as long as you're cognizant of it and working it to its full advantage, I admire you. I think that's cool stuff.
The problem I keep running into is they see me as the lost puppy, and then they get involved a little bit, and they see that I'm not a lost puppy. They see I have big
just like peeing on rugs.
You're pissing on the rug intentionally, like you're not lost. You're just going and marking your territory.
Yeah, and I think that confuses the shit out of them. So. It's an interesting ride.
Are you familiar? I'm making a really because Mikey just texted me a thing about Jackie screening. on Saturday night, and my friends want to go meet Jackie. Now, Surfer Phil was unaware that Jackie Martling from the Howard Stern show, that I have a relationship with Jackie, and he asked me if I wanted to go to see the screening the other night, and I said, "Yeah, I can." I said, I'll bring it." He has a cup. You think I can get him to sign it? I was like, "Yeah, I can get him to sign it. I get him to pee in your cup." And then sign. He said, "Well, that'll make it worth more money." And then I was going on telling him about, and I was showing him some of the emails that Jackie and I have done this week. And he goes, "Wow, you know Jackie Martling?" I was like, "Yeah, kind of. I kind of like I used to know you. Like basically, I talk to him almost daily." But so, are you familiar with Brendan Walsh, the comedian?
I can't say I am.
Well,
Brendan. That's Adam Walsh's brother. His father has a TV show about missing people.
No, and one more no. Brendan is crazier than crazy. I mean, he's done stand up, done typical stand up, like telling jokes or storytelling, and he's been on late night TV and all that stuff. That did that really well. But he gets bored with that, and he does characters like he does. A video pod. Oh, he doesn't do it anymore. But George, a thing is George Washington, and he fucking yells at people who ask stupid questions about George Washington. He gets really mean, and he does this character. He does another character, Renee something, which is like a Hollywood gossip columnist. His podcast is called World Record Podcast, and he does B-Man. He goes and he dresses in full bee costume. And he comes out and he's on the show as a guy who was a journalist investigating the killer bee connection. And they found out about him and they put him in a thing and he got attacked by killer bees. And now he's half man, half bee. Well, he's crazy. He's out of his fucking mind crazy. And I hooked him up. Jackie's going to be on his podcast Friday. And Jackie and they couldn't talk to each other for some reason. Their emails went. So I got caught like as middleman. Jackie says this to Brendan. Brendan says this to Jackie. Blah blah blah. And now, so the last one I got was Jackie wanted to. He said, "Listen, Brendan, I don't know you. You don't know me. I'd like to keep it that way until we do the podcast." And I was like, "That worked for when you were on with Bert Kreischer, because Bert's a ass kissing type of happy go lucky guy. Brendan's out of his fucking mind, psycho." And so to go in there not knowing anything about him, it could be a very traumatic experience if you don't know anything about the man. And he's like B-man jerky boy, making prank phone calls with you. It could be like a really offsetting thing. So it's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest.
I'm nervous for him. I could see me sitting in there texting Mary saying, "What the fuck did you get me into?"
Exactly. And I got him into this, so I'm Mary in this case. I'm a little nervous. But now my friends want to go see him Saturday night and basically don't know that I have this relationship with Jackie and we're pals. And now I'm going to go there and introduce my friends to him. And the first thing I'm going to say is how to go with Brendan. And it could be a fucking disaster to even say that. Like,
from now on, you can't call me Jackie. You call me Mr. Martling.
Yeah. And get your fucking friends out of here.
Maybe don't bring it up at all. Just act like it never even took place.
Yeah, Brendan who? Brendan,
yeah, let him bring it up.
Yeah. What do you mean? Podcast? I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't do none of this. I didn't put that together.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, Jackie, but I had nothing to do with it.
Evil Ian says, Jackie the joke man isn't going to like the prank calls. I think he will. I mean, listen, I think Stern did a lot of that shit, right? Didn't Stern do a lot of, like, not necessarily prank calls like Brendan does, but he was definitely a phone guy and fucked with people on the phone. I think Jackie will like it, but it just could be very unsettling that the first thing you see is this guy's in a fucking bee costume. Okay, if you don't even know about that, if you don't know anything about it and you're going on a podcast and the first thing you see is the guy coming on in a bee costume, you're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I went on a podcast not too long ago with a good group of people, and they got this kid, PJ, I think he's got, a lot to offer in the comedic community. But as soon as he walked in, he had no shirt on. I was like, and I didn't expect that. And, I'm generally a more conservative guy, so I'm like, what the fuck is this kid doing without his shirt on, man? It was definitely an interesting experience. So maybe, hey, it could be good for entertainment value.
Yeah, I want to see if I can pull up a little clip of B-Man when he was on the show. It probably won't be a long one, but give me a second here while GD, keep us entertained. Ask Anthony some questions.
Sure. Okay. So Anthony, who actually got you booked on this show? Was that Mary that did it, or did you find it on your own?
That's a good question.
Mary got me booked on here. Yeah, she found it.
Oh, that's right.
So
I have emailed that.
We're talking to you. Excuse Mary. Are you still out there, Mary? How did you find out about us? If you're out there, just type it in, and we'll.
Mary and I talk pretty much every day, and it's part of our strategy is to find as many podcasts, no matter how big or small or what the message is.
Oh, this one's huge. This is the biggest one you've ever seen.
To get out there, and I have a decent following too, so we're using my following on social media to kind of leverage some of those conversations where it's like, hey, these smaller podcasts, see, you have 100,000 followers, and they're like, I'm going to be famous overnight, if I get this guy on my show. And I hate to use that to my advantage, but it's, that's the reality of what we're doing.
You know what? They were talking about the Rogan bump, and the Rogan bump is kind of worn off too. Nobody is like getting famous overnight for being on podcasts, even on Rogan stuff. It's like because Sam Talent, when he was on there, that didn't do anything for Sam. Actually, got more bump from doing my show a bunch of times than he did from. I'm not boasting about that. It was an accidental thing. It wasn't like, oh, your show is much better. He got seen by the right people who got more gigs out of it based on because I don't know. I think first of all, when he did Rogan, I think Rogan was just doing that as a favor to Stanhope, who passed the book Running the Light on to Rogan. But anyway.
I think it's good, to get on these and to network with people, people that I would have otherwise never met. And so Mary kind of spearheads finding these podcasts, and at my direction, we'll talk about it. We'll say, hey, let's find these podcasts. What do we have lined up for this week? What's currently on our agenda? So it's very strategic. It's not willy-nilly. The idea is to get my name out there and to build that exposure and to be really consistent about it.
We have a message here from Mary saying, tell Anthony I want to raise.
I'll make a mental note of it.
All right. B-Man short from also share audio. Yes. Okay. This is the B-Man. Let's see if we can do
oh,
this.
Fucking God. What is that? Elton John guy?
Well, he wasn't in full B costume here. He was doing a thing with me, so he was just at home, and all he did was put on the B visors here.
Where there's a whole generation for the past 20 years where pornography has been plentiful and free and easy to access as making a telephone call. And I find that to be very, very curious because the government can regulate anything they fucking want. They can and it's like, oh, the internet's it's a new thing. They didn't know what to do. It's like bullshit, because that could have been the top story on every channel. It's like, okay, we have this new thing, the internet. There's a lot of pornography. How do we figure this out? And it would have been very easy to put laws in place where you can just have, if you want to watch pornography, you have to put in a credit card number and we'll charge you 1 penny. We just need proof. The only way, you can't just click and say, yes, I'm 18. There has to be a way for us to prove that you're not 8 years old about to watch an anal cream pie gang, which is also another thing with this plentiful, free, readily available pornography. None of this shit existed 20 years ago. There was never such a thing as an anal cream pie, gaping, bukkake, gang bang, cock gagging. There's things that have been invented and abusive kind of spitting in your faces, slapping each other. This is all because everybody, you know, back when we would have like a porno tape that was stashed away, and you get a chance or the inkling, you get like a little horny, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna queue up my favorite part of that porno, rub one out, and then be on with my day. Like now, it's you know, it's just regular meat and potatoes. Like you see, like, oh, she's an attractive lady, he's an attractive man. Oh, look, they're having sex. I see everything graphically. You weren't like, okay, I've seen enough of that. Can he try to stick his foot up her ass, or can he like you know, put a broomstick up his ass and ride it like a whip, or you know, oh, we're kissing. Like, I mean, you just go on any like porno site, and they have all the categories. There's no world, and hey, I'm not. If you're into piss, that's fine. If you're into getting peed on, whatever. That's been around for a while. You know, like kinks have been around, but there should not be 750,000 piss videos available on Pornhub or whatever site. And I feel like that has damaged, because like, what's an easier society to take over? Like, you feed them processed food for 30 years, give them free pornography, you got a bunch of fat people jacking off all the time. I mean, what's an easier country to just to conquer?
There you have a guy giving some serious commentary on what's wrong with society and the world right now in a bee suit. And so if you're not prepared for that going in, you just think, I'm going to be on a podcast with this guy, and that's what you get. And that was only the full B-Man thing is far, far more extensive than that. So that's what Jackie's going to be stepping into tomorrow. And I'm a little nervous about where it's going to and how it's going to go.
I would be.
Yeah. Well, now, what about the points he's making? Because I think he's absolutely right about that. First of all, I think the world has gone too far. The genie's out of the bottle for children to be able to access bukkake or any porn and freely and readily available is dementing. Listen, if I was 5 years old and I saw some of the shit that is online today, I can't imagine growing up to be a healthy adult.
Whose fault is it? And this isn't a shot at, you know, either
money
side, but whose fault it's but what about the parents, you know, handing over these iPads and stuff and saying, see you later for 10 hours a day? That kid could fucking do anything. And granted, there's a lot of child things you can put on these devices. You know, I think it's just too easily accessible for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely a parental responsibility there. I think most people, it started with people not even thinking that, you know, my parents wanted to believe that I was a good boy.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't be doing things that I shouldn't be doing. And to be honest with you, I was dealing LSD at 11 years old. So I think parents, you know, they have the idealistic version in their mind of these kids. I don't have to worry about them. I raised a good boy. And meanwhile, the kid is like jacking off to bukkake, anal cream pie, gangbangs, whatever.
That's just the tip of the iceberg, you know. It's some of these kids are into even worse shit than porno. I mean, you'd be happy if your kid's into bukkake, because you could be looking up how to, you know, make bombs and shit on the internet, and you got a lot of crazy shit going on in the world.
And Matt, just so you know, we don't have to say goodbye to Gov, so I'm not going to remind you to say goodbye
fuck
to Gov.
Govs.
We don't have to do that.
Fuck Govs. They're stuck with us today because Tony doesn't have a show today. You know what? His own brother was a scheduled guest today, so it's kind of weird that he doesn't have a show. Like his brother hung him up.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah. Well, I guess your brother would have hung you up. So
my brother would have hung me out to dry.
Yeah. My brother would have done the same goddamn thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm an only child now.
All right. Well, I am a little bit, not that I'm dissatisfied with Anthony. I think he's been a great guest, but I am a little bit disappointed that Gene Moran didn't show up because, first of all, he's a lobbyist. And that automatically makes him a bad guy, and he's like the enemy. Anybody who's pushing money, because my first question was going to be, I don't think you're a Democrat or a Republican. You're a guy who will. You're just interested in the money
Anything.
aspect of it. So whoever you can get signed up, you're like the devil. You are the problem. Now let's discuss the issues. It'd be a hard thing. It would have been a really, might have been good for ratings, but contentious debate and stuff like that. So I was looking forward to that. A lot of
More
screaming and yelling.
contentious than the libertarian guy.
Oh, way more. Because the libertarian guy, I don't know if Anthony's not familiar with this. We had a guy on who claimed to have the answer to the problems of America, which were states' rights, but he had a bill, I think 5 or 6 point plan on how to implement states' rights, and none of it had to do with states' rights. It was just like getting rid of Congress, sending the president on a constant road trip, getting rid of the White House, and having the president.
Did you sell that guy some LSD back in the day?
He looked like somebody sold him some LSD in the day. I didn't know him at the time.
A bad batch.
But GD didn't like him and was angry at him and wanted to fight him.
No, I was very nice to him. I was very nice to him because if I unleashed the full GD on him, he would have gone home crying.
I can't see GD losing it. He seems like a very calm, cool, collected guy.
Oh no, he gets angry. He definitely gets angry.
Yeah.
But
just imagine the happy-go-lucky me you see here, and then flip the coin over to just as evil and hateful.
Right.
And
right.
Try this. Tell him what a good person Nikki Haley is.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Anthony. Don't do that. No.
The point is, he gets angry. He gets
you don't want to
angry
divide the room, right?
No, but he can get a little. But that one got a little nasty. But this one, I think, would have gone because nobody wants to be told that they are really the problem. But lobbyists are the problem. Dirty money. I don't know. And Anthony probably doesn't know this. I'm running for Congress. I'm still on. At this year, I am still on the ballot in District 3, which was short. No. I'm still on the ballot. I haven't been doing any campaigning since like 3 months ago. But my main issue is dirty money, getting all this dirty money. All these politicians are bought and sold. And this is the guy doing the deals. So how could I not start off with, you're the fucking problem. And nobody wants to be told you're the problem.
That's why he ghosted you. He knew he was gonna get fucking slaughtered if he came on here.
That's a definite possibility. But he wanted to sell because he also right now he's doing his website is about how to get people. If you get in business, how to get your money for your business, because I can pull the strings because I'm connected to all these people. So if you need $500,000 for your business, or you need $500 million for your corporation, I'm the guy who can get it for you. And so that he wanted to pitch that, and in the meantime, was gonna willing to have this open-ended conversation about issues. So I don't know if that would be enough because.
Now, part of his biography is that he was special forces, right? So maybe he plans on getting the money.
I didn't see anything about special forces.
Was it special forces?
Joint staff of, and he was Navy captain, former corporate lobbyist.
Deep military operational. That's all. Right. Okay.
Still big enough shit.
Maybe
my fault.
This show just to come straight to your house, Matt.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the other thing. People have said, if I continue down this road, I'm going to end up with a bullet in the back of my head. Like I'm going to be sitting like Tony Soprano waiting for my pizza, and it's just going to go black.
Poor bastard.
Like a pen dispenser back into the left.
I just don't want him to play Journey. If it happens, don't play Journey when it happens. Like, don't stop believing. Come on.
Believe.
I got to have a better exit song than that. What?
How about oh Matt, you're so fine, you're so fine, you're Matt.
Yeah. So Anthony, it's good to see you again. Thanks for. Wait a minute. Now, do you guys have either of you? Now, do you have call up music, entrance music, your song walk on music, to bring you out. Do you have that, or like comedians are known for their?
Yeah, I think some of the music that I'm into isn't generally appropriate or acceptable. I
Like
have
what? Give me an example. What are you into?
um Wu-Tang Clan, Shame on a N-word.
Okay,
That gets me fucking going.
that would be
That
good. That
Which
would be good
N-word
for
is it?
GD to use.
No, depends on if I'm just a feature on a show, then I usually rely on something like uh these are
Vanessa
those are people who
Carlton.
died, Jim Carroll band. Those are people who died.
Oh
I
yeah.
I love that song. That's what I like to walk on to if I'm a feature. If I'm headlining doing my own shows, then it's one of my own songs.
Why do comedians die? Die. Why do comedians die? Die.
Yeah, I love that. I love that song.
Yeah.
It's I can
I
listen to it
don't.
like
I
six,
don't think
seven
there's
times a day.
anything inappropriate about any song that you could play as a walk-on song. If it fits your personality and it kind of sets the tone. I don't know if it sets the tone for self-care.
No. I mean, but that's the thing where a lot of people see a lot of that inspirational stuff, and they see a more cleaned up version with social media. But then you see me in person, and you're like, oh my god, this guy's crazy. There's more to me. There's more depth to social media, and I think sometimes social media gives you the wrong perception. But perception is reality, and that's what we're creating. We're selling the dream.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And it's good that you have more depth. How do you explain that in a couple of minutes on short, in short form on the internet? And this is I think the biggest problem I'm facing is I'm putting out a lot of shorts right now, and people think they get the full context of the conversation by a 30-second clip of people saying stuff, and then they want to argue. It's like you can't possibly know what this is really about and know all the facts here and have enough to argue about, but they want to argue, and then they say, well, if that's the case, why do you bother even putting it out? I'm like, AI's doing it, really, not me. I'm not like editing this shit. I don't have time for that. So it's a kind of a catch-22. You almost have to get involved in this short form stuff that leaves people the wrong impression, or it's a
Well,
really
people have a shortened attention span. You're swiping all goddamn day. If you don't want to see it, you don't look at it. And the good thing about YouTube and Shorts is maybe it doesn't capture the entirety of what's being talked about. And the people on YouTube are just so goddamn ignorant sometimes. I posted some really awful stand up on my YouTube channel, and I had like 5,000 hits on the one video, and it was awful. It was just atrocious. And people were commenting how awful it was, which only continued to show that video more and more and more. So I was like, you know what? Keep talking shit. I don't
right. I pointed that out the other day because I was doing some Tom Segura stuff, and some of it is tongue in cheek.
I saw.
But these people, they don't realize that the more they put that negative, that's just helping me. It's just telling YouTube that people are watching this thing and that it's valuable to YouTube, and then they're going to push it to more people. So, but yeah, he can beat the shit out of me. One guy and I'm going to put one final Segura thing out to kind of just explain my real beef with Tom Segura, and also the fact that I really don't fucking care. Tom Segura is never going to give a shit about. He's never going to know who I am. He's never going to give a shit if he does know who I am about what my opinion of him is. And I'm not trying to change anything about this. I'm just pointing out some of the stuff he says. And I'm going to just say it here, and I'll explain it in the longer video. But the very first clip that got me started with him, he was outraged that homeless people, if they're on the side of a street and they have property, that you're not allowed to take that from them because that's their property. And he was outraged by that. I look, well, that's kind of you want somebody who's lost everything. They've lost their house, apartment, or whatever. They're on their street. Now, all they have is this dresser full of clothes, and you think you should be able to take that away from them. I could understand if the city, state, or whatever regulatory authority wants to say, we're impounding this. You just can't leave it on the sidewalk here. Once you find out where you're going, you're going to have to contact us and you can get it back. That's different than saying, I, as a citizen, should be able to just to take that from them and take everything they have, all their worldly possessions, and take it from them. And he found that to be outrageous that he couldn't do that. And I'm like, where the fuck does that stop? You want to take the clothes off their back too? You got a guy who's destitute here, and your biggest problem is you can't take their property, all they have left in this world. You can't take that away from them. So, and so the people are saying, oh, he's just joking about the poor. No, he's dead serious that you want kicking the poors when they're down.
He really believed. I mean, it's hard to differentiate with these comedians, man. They because so much is said out of shock effect and it's a bit that they're working on, and so sometimes it's hard to tell where reality is and where I'm just fucking around. But if that's really how he feels, then Tom Segura, he can get fucked. I don't support that. I think that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and so I will just want to make that. And again, I'm not trying to cancel him. I'm not trying to get people not to be fans of him. I'm not trying to influence you to say fuck Tom Segura. I just want to explain the thing that I have an issue with. He could change that because I have other videos of him saying, yeah, you're a loser, but you don't have to be a loser. You can change. Just change your mindset. And I just want to put that out there that he can change. He can basically see that the case he's making for taking people's very last fucking dime or nickel or whatever, pictures of their mom or whatever, because you're homeless, you shouldn't lose your dog. That's my whole point. So I'm going to put that out there and see what. And part of it, honestly, I'm putting all my cards on the table. Part of it is just because I know if I put his name in the video, it's going to get more clicks, more views, and boost my YouTube channel. I'm not being
I saw that. I was scrolling through some of your shorts, and it seemed like name dropping. Name dropping is always safe, and it's good because people immediately know who you're talking about, and that resonates with them, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. They want to hear you out and hear your opinion. So I mean, right. I personally like Tom, but if that's what he believes, then what the fuck is what's that about?
Yeah, and again, he might evolve and he might change and all that stuff. But and I don't care if he does or he doesn't. I just want to get the issue out there. It's not really about Tom Segura. I'm using Tom Segura to get the clicks and the views. But the point is about the homeless people do have some rights, and you have to have some fucking empathy for them and understand that it could happen to you. People don't believe that it could ever happen to them, but it could happen to me. It could happen to GD. Probably will happen to GD before the day is over. I forgot to tell him about that. But, it's just empathy is a really important thing. But the name dropping thing, that just got me. Yesterday, I put out, there was a clip that we had when we had Jackie on last time. He was talking about Seinfeld. AI takes the long form and creates a short clip, and it's got Seinfeld in the thing. But all it is me asking Jackie the question, was Seinfeld ever on the Stern Show? I know he was a regular later on, but was he on the Stern Show while you were on? And that's the clip. But it's got surprising thing about Seinfeld on the Stern Show as the title. So people are going to click on that thinking, wow, I'm going to learn about Seinfeld and Stern. And basically it's just me asking the question. That's it.
Total side note, Seinfeld was, I remember listening to them on Howard Stern, and then he said, well, where do you come up with your material? And Seinfeld said, well, I'm always thinking of material. Yeah. And Stern's like, you thinking of material right now? He's like, well, yeah. And like, I remember Stern being like, well, that's fucked up, man. Like, what the hell?
That's actually worked its way into a bit on the Seinfeld show where he's talking to Elaine, and she said, are you working on a bit right now? No, we're just talking. She said, no, I know that tone. You're working on a bit. Yeah. It does put people off if you're a comedian who does that and they know that everything. I used to do that all the time because I was known for writing songs about real life people, and nobody wanted to really get too close to me because they didn't want to end up in a fucking song about them where I'm making fun of them.
Is it because the songs are bad or because they just? It
was a little of both. A little of both. Mikey still hates to this day. Don't you stab my back and I'll stab yours, which is a song I did about him. And it's brutal. It's brutal. It's not a great song, but it's on two levels. He doesn't like it because it's not a great song, but he also doesn't like it because I'm trashing him during the whole thing. So, anyway.
It's funny because you were talking about, like, I have friends, well, acquaintances, people I used to work with. They're not really friends. I used to work.
You don't have any friends.
Yeah, I used to work for a company that used to rhyme with DirecTV. No, I wasn't a comedian. Yeah, I was a comedian then. And I used to work for a company rhymes with Penguin Random House. And people would not want to talk around me because they assumed that they would be part of my bit. And I'd have to tell them, I said, no, what happened just is not that funny.
Flandom Mouse?
Yes, that's it. Yes.
I know that.
Yes. And so I tell them, I said, no, what happened was really not that funny. It wasn't.
Cramden Louse. That's
Yes, it rhymes with Penguin Random House.
Yes.
It rhymes with that.
Penguin Random House?
Yeah, it rhymes with that. I'm not going to say the actual name. I
don't know a word that rhymes with penguin. I'm stuck with it. Anyway, it's time to wrap up here. Now, PBM TV, did we say goodbye to them? No, we didn't. So we're interrupting a really important hot